Welcome back to another episode of Shelly's Game Kitchen. I'm Chef Shelly Meyer, and I hope to make cooking game more approachable and easier for anybody that hasn't tried game. It's very healthy, lean protein, and so what I really enjoy doing is teaching people how to do that with different techniques. So keep watching while I bring the forest to your table. So what I'm going to do for you today is I have elk, and this is actually the eye of round. And what I'm going to do is do a balsamic marinade, and then I'm going to save that marinade and reduce it down into a sauce. And then I'm going to serve that with some cheesy cauliflower parsnip puree. So keep watching and let's get cooking. Montana flavor to savor. We've spent a decade creating the best flavors with all natural ingredients, gluten-free, with no fillers or no preservatives. You can find the best flavors at Montana Flavor to Savor. Visit our website at www.mtflavortosavor.com. With an explosion of flavor that tantalizes your taste buds, there's only one way to experience the last best taste of Montana, and that's with Montana Flavor to Savor seasonings. Get yours today. So let's get our marinade, balsamic marinade, started for our elk. And all I'm gonna do is, I've got my pan hot here, so I'm gonna add some oil, and I'm just using olive oil in this one, because I'm not really trying to get color, so I don't need to have a really high heat, but I want to just be able to saute off those shallots and garlic. Perfect. And then, while that's sauteing, what I'm going to do is season up my meat. Now I know I've got it in a marinade, but I also want to add the layers of flavor. So what I'm gonna do is just take this was eye of round, and I'm just gonna take my steak seasoning and season that up so we have another layer of flavor in this. So not only in the marinade, but actually the first thing that touches that meat. So while we're kind of getting all of this ready, let's just get some flavor built into that elk. There we go. And then after I've got it seasoned, I'm actually going to use this bowl here to be able to marinate everything in so it can get all the surfaces and so forth. Perfect. So this is looking pretty good. I am going to hit that with just a pinch of salt and fresh cracked pepper. And I've also got my cauliflower and parsnips on just covered with cold water, and that's where you want to start it from. And then we'll get that boiling and softened up so we can puree it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to my shallots here. And just let those bloom. And I already salted and peppered enough on the shallots, so I don't need to do it at this stage. Perfect. And now what I've got to add into that is actually, we've got Worcestershire. I have tamari or soy sauce or coconut aminos. You can use any of those. And I've got balsamic vinegar, of course, because this is a balsamic marinated elk. And then I also have molasses, some blackstrap molasses. It's just going to add a wonderful umami flavor to this marinade. It's going to be beautiful. So let me get those things kind of combined and married together, get all those flavors working. Perfect. And now what we're going to do is just let that kind of cool off a bit, and as soon as it's cooled, we'll put it over the top of our elk and let that marinate for, probably an hour or so, and then we'll come back and sear it off, but we're going to reserve our marinade and reduce it down for a sauce and a glaze when we plate. So we've let our elk marinade for a bit. It's looking really good. So let's go ahead and get our other ingredients going. I've got the pan coming up to temp, and then I also actually pureed the cauliflower and parsnip already. I cooked that in a little bit of salted water and then drained off the extra water and just pureed that. And while this pan is getting hot, I'm going to actually add just a couple of tablespoons of butter to this cauliflower and parsnip and let that kind of meld in there. And then I'm also, this is where the good stuff, this is a herb and garlic little soft cheese. And so I'm gonna add a little bit of that in there too. And I'll taste it afterwards and see if I need to add a little bit more and how my salt and pepper levels are. Because I salted that water, everything kind of is already in your cauliflower and parsnip. So perfect. I'm just gonna let that kind of melt together, and then let's get our elk, our balsamic glazed elk, in the pan, cooking. So because this is gonna be high heat, I'm actually gonna grab some grapeseed oil. And just get enough to coat the bottom of the pan. See, that's smoking, so that tells us that our pan is hot and ready. So I'm gonna actually take this and keep as much of the marinade back. So we wanna preserve as much of that yummy goodness as we can. So there we go. And then right into that smoking hot pan. Nice. Woo! She's good and hot. Good sear, good sear. Yes, I love it. And now I'm gonna take the marinade into this other pan and get that reducing down so we can use that for the top of our plate, top of our main ingredient, which is elk. And remember, this is the eye of round, so another roast that I'm doing. Just gonna kind of sear that again to a medium rare status and then slice it and glaze it. So let's let that cook for a few minutes on each side, and we'll get ready to plate after that. Okay, so what we're getting ready to do is plate our balsamic glazed eye of round elk. So what I'm gonna do first is kind of put I added the butter and a little bit of that herb garlic cream spread. So I'm just gonna add some of that to my plate here. Do a little swish because we like that look. And then let's slice up some of our elk here. And the fun thing about elk, you know, I've told you many times if you watch my other episodes, it's just so lean. The protein is such a lean protein and so healthy. Look at that, it's gorgeously done. So one of the beautiful things about elk is it's so healthy and lean, and if you watch some of my episodes before, I've explained that, but I don't know if I told you that elk has got 1 gram of fat compared to beef having 17 grams of fat per serving. So it really is just one of those most beautiful, lean, tasty proteins that you can find. So what we're gonna do now is I'm just gonna take some of those beautiful pieces and put it over the top of our schmear. Let me add one more back there, like so. And then I've got this balsamic marinade that I reduced down. And if you watch some of my other episodes, I told you how you look to see if you're ready, if that sauce the liquid doesn't swim right back into the center when you do a little swish. So now I'm just gonna add that marinade reduced down over the top there. It's delicious and it ties the whole dish all together because we marinated it in it, and now we're gonna reduce it to a sauce. And then let me just clean that plate up a little bit. Get a little bit too picky sometimes. I'm just gonna finish with a little bit of green, some fresh cut parsley. Okay, so there you have my balsamic marinated elk with cauliflower parsnip puree with some cheese added to it. hope you enjoy. So thank you so much for watching another episode of Shelly's Game Kitchen. I'm Chef Shelly Meyer, and you can follow me on social media on Facebook and on Instagram at Chef Shelly Meyer. If you can find some of my spices as well, go to www.mtflavor2savor.com. What I cooked for you today was balsamic marinated elk, and I did the eye of round that I marinated that and then reduced the marinade down into a sauce, served it over cheesy cauliflower parsnip puree. I hope you enjoy and try it for yourself, and watch me next time as I continue to bring the forest to your table.